Many of you are very impressed by Devin Haney's victory over Regis. And I would like to say that I am not that impressed. And I want to preference that by telling you where I saw Devin at prior to this fight. I had Devin beating everybody from 135 to 140, not named Shakur Stevenson and Tank Davis. I believe that Richard Hitchison can possibly give him some issues because they have a very similar style. And I think Richard Hitchison is a little more, has a little more pop. I believe that Shakur Stevenson is a better pure boxer. And Tank is Tank. Tank is a guy with a great chin, with a knockout punch, who also has a very extensive amateur career, has been boxing his whole life, and he knows how to get his shots off. You're not going to fight Tank without getting hit. That's not going to happen. And the issue is when Tank hits you, he typically hurts you. So those are the only guys I saw giving Devin Haney problems. So I am not that impressed because I was always impressed. So let's start that way. What I want to talk about is Regis. And I want to talk about Regis. I could throw Earl in there. No need to really throw Earl under the bus. But if you're going to pressure a fighter, right? Let's back up a little bit. If you're going to fight a fighter, I think you should know who's standing across you in the ring. And I think Regis, his team is professional. I don't want to disrespect them. I don't want to pretend like I am not just a guy who's been watching boxing for a very long time. And I don't have the insight to all these intricacies and all the rest of this stuff. But what I do know is who a fighter is. It doesn't take me that long to figure out who a fighter is at their core. Devin Haney is a guy who fights very, very good going backwards. Very good. Just like Terrence Crawford was a guy who fought very, very good going backwards. Floyd Mayweather was a fighter who fought very, very good going backwards. If you're fighting a fighter who probably would prefer to fight going backwards and your goal is to pressure them, you cannot slow pace pressure them. You have to be in their face, making them make very quick decisions and praying that they make a mistake. You cannot simply slowly walk towards them and allow yourself to get picked off. That is a recipe for disaster. And Regis fought probably the dumbest fight you could fight versus Devin Haney. I don't think he understood who Devin Haney was. So when I say I'm not impressed, that's because I understood how good Devin Haney was. And Regis obviously didn't know who he was standing across the ring with. Him thinking that other guys who were able to close the distance and make it an inside fight, we're talking about JoJo and Lomachenko. Lomachenko probably has some of the best footwork I've ever seen in boxing. He does the same thing a little bit. He's trying to get to your weak side, to your jab side, and he's trying to take a very advantageous to him southpaw angle on you. That's what he's trying to do. Like, everybody knows what he's trying to do when he's fighting an orthodox fighter. He's trying to get to your left hand, and he's going to be just right outside of that shoulder where he can fire off combinations and you can't. Right? He's going to put on his earmuffs because he knows the only thing that's probably going to be coming his way in that time frame is going to be the check hook. And he's going to have on his earmuffs, and then he's going to fire off combinations. He's going to work to the body and work to the head. But Lomachenko is a dancer. Like, his father made him stop boxing to take up dancing. Right? And so he has some of the best feet I've ever seen. And those feet will carry him well into his 40s. He'll be competitive with guys versus his size that are his size for a long time because of how good his feet are. He got good hands as well, but his feet are what makes him so amazing. You can't look at Lomachenko and think you're going to have that same success. What I appreciate about pressure fighters, the quote-unquote Mexican style, what I personally appreciate is their ability to make the other guy fight at a pace that they're not used to. Even Sabril Matias, even though he's not Mexican, I'm just, people call it the quote-unquote Mexican style. That brawler style. He made the other guy, what was it, Ergashev or whatever, he made him fight at a pace he wasn't accustomed to. And he blew his gasket. I mean, he had no fuel left at like the third round because he was fighting at a very, very high pace. Regis allowed Devin to fight at a pace. Devin could have fought for 25 rounds, and I'm not exaggerating. Devin could fight at that pace probably for 25 rounds. He could have backed up and picked off Regis. There was a moment in the fight, and I want a lot of you, if you're listening to this, if you could catch the fight. There was a moment in the fight, the second time, to where Devin hurt Regis, and Regis backed up, and Regis called Devin to him. And Devin tried the 5 combination, and Regis punched him in his goddamn ribs with a left hook so hard. You could see Devin freeze up and immediately pin his right hand, his right elbow, to that left hook. I mean, to the right side of his body. You could immediately see it. And no one in Regis' corner. Regis didn't catch it. Nobody caught it. You had Devin where you wanted him. And I'm going to leave with this. You had him fighting in front of a home crowd. All you had to do was back up. Because most guys who are very, very good at fighting going backwards are not as versatile coming forward. This includes the great Terrence Crawford. This includes the great Floyd Mayweather. And this includes Devin the Dream, future great Haney. They're not that great being the aggressor. So I would have thought Regis would have pretty much tried to time Devin, stand his ground, and let Devin press the pace. Or allow Devin to get booed and to fight a boring fight in front of a home team. Because Devin had 2 things going against him. 1, he's fighting in front of a home crowd. And 2, he's trying to do better than Ryan and Shakur to put himself in the runnings for a tank fight. So all Regis had to do was stand still or fight backwards himself and put Devin in a more uncomfortable position being the aggressor. He still would have lost, but he wouldn't have lost that bad.